So, some of you know that I can play Battlefield 5 now to a decent level of ability, playing solo, top 1% KD, win a fair few matches, that kind of stuff. Not a competitive player or anything like that, just, pretty good for being a content creator. Well, wanna see how I started off playing Battlefield back in BF1? Alright. Oh god, action. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons, dude. Oh, the panic. I'll take an assist. Oh, there's someone in the window. Oh, multiple people. Multiple enemies spotted. Oh. Is there a guy here? I'm getting out. Let's war Jesus this. I'm in gas. How do you put gas on? Mask. Gas mask. I threw a nade, Damien. It's next to me. I just killed myself. Ladies and gents, I sucked. I was awful, just like I did when I started playing Call of Duty way back in the day, or just like how I was awful when I started playing Destiny. I'm not naturally gifted enough to be able to pick up any random first-person shooter and be instantly good at it. But when I've cared enough about a game, I've always found a way to be good at it, and usually reasonably quickly. And so today I'm bringing this video to you to make it clear that even if you suck at the game, or you're just average or whatever, it's not as if you should give up all hope of ever being good or simply just improving if you want to. And so I've put together 18 tips I personally have used in order to completely transform my performance, whether it be in Battlefield 5 specifically or FPS games in general. Some of them are very, very basic, others are just a little bit more complex, but I'm certain that some things in this video will be useful for you if you're a bit less able or are just solid reminders of what we can be doing to maintain our ability even if you yourself are already good at the game. Please note that, as I've used a representation of kill-death ratio rising in the thumbnail, as mine has, KD is not the be-all and end-all of your performance. Kills versus deaths do matter overall, despite what some people will tell you, but actually helping the team to win matters more than anything else. And sometimes sacrificing your life is part of that. And finally, the background footage is there just for your enjoyment, different guns on different modes, rather than specifically pertaining to the subject at hand, because a lot of this is conceptual rather than something to specifically go and demonstrate. Alright, with that all out of the way, and in no particular order, let's start firing off those 18 tips to turn your game around. First tip, always know where your first piece of cover is. Absolutely always know where you can go to avoid fire, to get off a reload, to use as a head glitch, to lean around, anything like that. If you have cover and the enemy doesn't, you have the advantage. Too many people run around in the open, not utilizing what's available to them. Even good players this is, they get overconfident and they run out in open spaces and get mown down by people. Know where that next piece of cover is, either by looking around as you're running around, or by just having the knowledge of the maps that you need from extensive play and building up the habit of moving from cover to cover. Next tip, know your way in and your way out. Similar to knowing where the next piece of cover is, when you're going into an engagement, know how you want to go into it, if there are other ways into it, if there's a smarter way into it, a way that people don't think of, and a way for you to get out. The last thing you want is to end up in a bad situation, whether it's multiple people closing in on you, grenades being thrown in, anything like that, and you can't react quickly enough because you don't know how you're getting out of it. Backdoor, window, drop down, swim out, fly away, whatever it may be, know how you're getting out of this situation before you get into it. Next tip, look and listen. Really basic, right? But I don't just mean use your eyes and ears, although they are very important. Listen for enemy footsteps. Listen for reloads. Listen for enemy callouts, because yes, the enemies do have vocal lines in this game that you can hear. Know which team you're on, so if you're American and you hear a Japanese callout, you know that's an enemy. Listen for them rustling in the bushes. Listen for your teammates spawning around you when you get that little noise of them spawning, so you know you can push with them. And look at the minimap. Look to see if there are X's on there of your teammates dying and from which direction. Look at where your teammates aren't covering. Look for where gunfire is coming from. All this kind of stuff. Use your brain, work out what's going on around you, and get the drop on the enemy. Next tip, bait morons. Yes, I do mean this. Morons on your team. Look, baiting your teammates so you can get the kill isn't a good thing to do, but if you have some teammates or squad mates that are just running in all the time and getting mowed down, use that to your advantage. If they're gonna just run in there and get killed anyway, follow up. Let them go first, follow up, and clear out the people that shot at them. Use them as a meat shield. You may as well add some value to them playing if they can't. And if they're just gonna stand in a window to get sniped at, fine, let them do it and look at where they get sniped from so that you can counter snipe them. Next tip, move after a kill really often. If you're holding down an area and you pick off a kill or two from a window, sitting there for the next 30 seconds probably isn't gonna be a good idea. You've got muzzle flash, people look at where gunshots are coming from. If they're playing in a squad, they're gonna call out where you are. Make sure you move, even just a little bit, so that you can get the drop on them when they try and take you out. But more than that, you'll see a lot in my footage is when I kill someone, I quickly move away. I'll double back, back, I'll switch my angle, my position. I won't just stand there, unless I think someone's instantly coming. I want to make it difficult for the enemy to get to me, even if they know I've just killed someone there. This can also aid you in getting off a reload, getting off heals, all sorts of stuff like that. After you kill someone, move away. Next tip, draw enemies into you to give you the advantage. This is baiting the enemy. This is a bait and switch. Look like you're running away sometimes, and then turn around once you hit the corner and kill them. Really basic tip, works really well. If someone's following you and you get the chance, maybe climb up on something when they can't see you, shoot down at them. If someone has clearly seen you and you can't win that 1v1 gunfight, run as if you haven't seen them and then turn and kill them as they get all excited trying to kill you. Draw enemies to you and pick them off. Next tip, know your range and capabilities. Look, if you're using a fast-firing SMG, there is no point you trying to kill people at 80 meters. If you're using a shotgun, don't just run out into the middle of nowhere and expect to be able to perform. If you're using a sniper rifle, heading into that mass cluster of enemies and friendlies on a 10-meter square point is probably going to get you killed. And know the damage drop-offs of your gun. You need to know that at mid-range with most semi-autos, you can pop 3 shots into someone and they'll die. You also need to know though, if you're up against a self-loading rifle, that they can probably put just 2 shots in you and you'll die. Weigh it up, know your capabilities, know your range. Next tip, know when your life is and isn't valuable. Look, staying alive and getting kills is important. Staying alive to be a spawn beacon for your squad in a key area is important. Staying alive to allow your team to back you up and then pushing is important. But if time is ticking down, if you need a point, if someone needs a meat shield, if you've got to just do a crazy play to turn something around, sacrifice your life or at least risk sacrificing your life to make it happen. Next tip, draw enemies / flee from enemies to your allies. Way too many people end up in a bad spot where they're being pushed by multiple people or one person but they're weak or anything like that and just think, oh, I'm screwed here. No, you're not. Look at the minimap, look for where your allies are and run towards them. If the enemy chases you and you can evade them, your allies will hopefully pick them off for you, or you can turn and shoot and team fire them down. Look for the blueberries or the green dots of your squad, run to them, get help without them even realizing they're going to help you. You can then force their advantageous position and stay alive. Next tip, know when to push and when to hide or lie in wait. As we covered earlier, sometimes you've just got to push in and make it happen, but at other points just hiding is better. Maintaining your position on a flag so the enemy can't capture it, or lying in wait so you can weigh up when you should actually pop out. If you sit in a corner because you know someone's coming and they run round, but you instantly pop them and then his teammates come round and kill you, you didn't achieve anything. They're going to kill you and then probably revive their teammate. But if you wait, you listen, you hear more footsteps, you let all 3 of them run by, and then you kill 3 of them from behind, well then by just taking a couple of seconds to use your brain, you completely transform that situation by sitting, lying in wait, being sensible, and helping your team. Next tip, target prioritization. If you see 2 enemies at mid-range, one clearly has something like an SMG and the other has a semi-auto rifle, and you've also got a mid-range option, kill the semi-auto rifle guy first, then try and take out the SMG. If you're in close quarters and you see a few enemies, don't start shooting them randomly if one of them is looking at you. Kill the one that's looking at you, then kill the others. If someone is near you and someone's far away, kill the guy near you rather than the guy that's far away. I know this can be hard to do in the moment, but if you make a habit of it, it'll become second nature and you won't be needlessly throwing your life away all the time when actually you could have had a great impact and killed multiple enemies. Next tip, flank. Far too many people are just running head on at the enemy. You see 6 of your team and 10 of their team just running at each other when there's a side door there that you can go down, maybe take 5-10 seconds going around the outside, come out on their flank and kill them, or at least split their attention so your brainless teammates coming from the other direction have a better chance of winning that fight. Use those flanks. Next tip, switch it up and build up that playbook. Use as many different guns and gadgets as you can so you can learn what's good, what isn't, what works for you and what doesn't, how to counter this if the enemy uses it, how best to use this if you use it, what to do with something if you pick it up off the floor, what to do in a situation you've not come across before. I'm rhyming again, I'm making a habit of this in my videos. But seriously, use different stuff, get used to it, build up your knowledge of the game, expand your playbook, and be a better player. Next tip, keep on top of attrition for health and ammo, and pay attention to where resupply stations are. Running out of health / ammo makes you nearly useless. A lot of games don't have this, Battlefield 5 does. Know if you have a pouch or not. Know if you only have 20 rounds left. Know if you should be spraying them out or conserving them. Learn where that resupply station is. Stick close to your squad if you need to. Call out for ammo and health regularly. Make sure you don't end up as a useless or detrimental aspect of your team. Next tip, get the right settings for you. Seriously, the amount of people that have watched my guides, gone in, changed their settings, come back and gone, oh my god, the game is completely different for me now, is insane. Find the field of view you need. Find your correct sensitivity. Turn off the effects text if they bother you, turn off motion blur, reduce screen shake, all that kind of stuff. Make the game easier for you to play by not hampering yourself with the default settings, which actually, some of them are really detrimental to your play. Next tip, learn playing norms. Learn what people tend to do and counter them. Where are the hot zones? Where are the camping points? Where should you be checking? Where should you be avoiding? What can you do differently to catch the enemy out? Psychology is massive in sport, games, all sorts. Learn what people tend to do and do something different that they're not prepared for. Next tip, use movement to your maximum advantage. Sliding especially. I slide all the time, people complain about it all the time, but trust me, if I didn't slide as much, I wouldn't be as good. I can slide and look around. I can slide and reload. I can slide around corners. I can slide and shoot. Jumping over things people don't expect helps me out, makes me harder to hit, makes it easier for me to catch people out. Look at all the movement you can utilize in the game and use it. And my next and final tip, be positive, take ownership, and have fun. Look, playing angry doesn't help you. If you're getting tilted, do something else. Come back to it later. Try and keep a positive mental attitude when you can, focus on having fun, and take ownership of your mistakes. Don't always blame the game or the enemy. Sometimes you messed up. You need to learn from it so you can do better next time. That's massive. Make sure you do it and you'll benefit long term. And so those are 18 tips I have genuinely used and employed to transform my in-game performance, and I hope they help some of you out. Let me know which ones you're going to test out in the comments below and leave any of your own tips there as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leaving a like is massive for me. It helps the channel to grow. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing and turning on notifications, stay up to date with the massive amount of content I'm putting out at the minute and will continue to put out. And all the links to my social media, including Patreon, can be found in the description and my pinned comment. Here is the board of awesome for the epic people who already support me on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and I love them all deeply and of course often. If you want to join them on the board of awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy and I'll see you next time. Laters. Not necessarily the ones designed for longer ranges. But let's continue from a wider aspect, heals versus attrition. Medics can constantly heal before, during, and after gunfights. So it is still the class with the most survivability and thus arguably is the most forgiving class.